What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer slash seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Oh, hey, what's up, Greg? What have you been up to today?
I've been drinking some beers, Nick. I've been having a good time. I've been feeling what they call your wild oats. You know what I mean? I feel them.
Cool.
That's not what that means.
I think what you mean is oat milk. You've been drinking oat milk.
So your wild oats. That's a different thing. I've been feeling them, though. You know what I mean? That's a big part of it. Joining us as well, of course, is the Hispanic heartthrob Texas treat, Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globe-trotting, head-shotting, nitro rifle from twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
I'll tell you what, Greg. Mixing these Game Fuel Zeros with my juice, Kevin. Oh, it's a great combination. Great combo.
Do you feel like the juice has made it healthy?
Yes. 1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously the Game Fuel is probably not the healthiest thing.
No,
making your heart beat at 2 times the speed. But the juice is really what's getting the body flowing, getting that chlorophyll in you.
I do want to point out, Greg, this isn't the normal smoothie full of sugar and shit like this. It's still, granted, it's still 180 calories, but it is, when it tastes gross, you know it's better for you. And this one,
how many grams of sugar?
Grams of sugar. No sugar added. No sugar added, Kev.
But yeah, but how many grams of sugar? Not no sugar added. I mean, there's still sugar because the fructose.
I see a number here, but I'd rather not tell you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because it's got a bunch of celery and spinach and cucumber and apple.
Sure.
So like the regular green juice
on that stuff, yeah.
The regular green juice has like 320 calories and it's super thick and it's full of just like sweet bullshit.
Sure.
But this one tastes gross, so I'm like, this is better for me. And Kevin,
they
never asked me that question again. Go ahead, Greg.
What I want to tell you is to be careful. To be careful, Andy. How long have you been drinking these Odwalla juices, you think? Like in a I'm going to be healthy way. Like how long have you been working on this?
Oh, not really in a I'll be healthy way. I don't know. 3 years, maybe 4 years.
See, I found them personally to be a slippery slope. All right, because what it was is that I was in a similar situation of like I need to do something for my body. Right, I'm torturing it with the pizza, with the beer, with everything else I'm doing to it. Right, and so back at IGN, I had started drinking the Odwalla juices, hoping that would offset it. Right, and then this is where I got into trouble. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
Here we are.
This is where I got
This is the
trouble.
energy I was hoping for at 8 o'clock at night. This is good. Go.
So I then noticed that they had the Odwalla protein shakes, right? They had one that was like strawberry. And one day they were out of the juice, so I bought that, and it was delicious. It was legitimately the dream I imagine Kevin has of I opened it and I was drinking a milkshake. And it tasted so good, and it offset my breakfast, and I was having a great time with it, right? So I started drinking these things every day for breakfast. I was like, oh, man, it's like a liquid breakfast, blah, 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 blah. Then there came a day where I was on the toilet, and I pooped. And I was like, man, that was just water. That was just that. And then I thought about it. Wait a second. When's the last time I had a solid poop? And it had been a good 8 or 9 days. And that's when I figured out that I was drinking these protein shakes, but not working out or doing anything. So
too much protein to the gut.
It wasn't doing it. It was just flushing my system. I had to hard stop. Drinking these delicious protein shakes and try to get back. And it took days. It was days.
9 days to figure this out, Greg.
Barrett, when you eat as many chicken wings as I do and drink as much beer as I do, that's just kind of normal.
Yeah.
You know, you're not
I'm
thinking
almost at
about
the
it
beer
too
part,
much.
Not nearly the chicken wing part.
Some days you're laying out by the pool. Sometimes you're in the pool. That's just how it goes.
I guess. I don't know.
Forbes, 30 under 30.
What they say.
AKA the second best baby blues in San Francisco. AKA the verified one at Tim Gettys.
Let Tim host. It's been a hell of a 4 years. You know what I'm talking about, everybody?
Oh, Jesus.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special Kind of Funny podcast. We are recording this one live right now on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames as part of our second 12-hour stream for the month of January. Of course, on January 4th, we came back with a vengeance, as they say, announced all the new programming like The Blessing Show, announced all the new initiatives like the twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames streams every day after Kind of Funny Games Daily, announced the new employees, Roger and Snowbike Mike, and now, of course, as we did that, we of course did the normal fundraising and the thermometer and all the different shows. Right now, we are in the middle of the second 12-hour stream, which was one you funded back on January 4th. We have been going, for 10 hours now, 2 hours left, hour and a half left. Joey Noel, you are here, not on camera. So is, of course, Blessing Adeoye Jr., Barrett Courtney on the ones and twos, and Kevin is here too, which I'm confused about, but I didn't pay much attention to the meetings leading up to this as to why this would be like this. Joey, where are we at in fundraising right now?
Sorry, I forgot my mic was muted.
It's
we
fine.
are at $89,003. Rap air horn noise. It's
I appreciate
a
that.
number to have to say. You know? Thank you.
Remember, of course, our goal was $50,000. We have been doing stretch goals ever since. And of course, this was something you crushed back on January 4th. We can't thank you for your support. Remember, if you're hearing this late, of course, if it's even no longer the month of January, every dollar over on patreon.com/kindafunny or patreon.com/kindafunnygames helps. And of course, we are streaming on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames all the time. So if you could come over there, get a subscription, great. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. Come over there and give us the free subscription. Great. And of course, if you just have no way to support us monetarily, we totally get it, especially in 2021. Come on over to twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Click the follow button, click the notification bell, and you are in business for us. Like so many of you have, so many people gifting subs, so many people being amazing to us this entire month. We hope, obviously we talked about it in the first Kind of Funny podcast that was the live stream, but we hope that you see everything we're putting into the company and the content and trying to work from home and do all this different stuff. As again, we've committed to working from home through at least the summer until hopefully we can get into the amazing studio Nick and Kevin are working on that may have a tortoise. That may have a tortoise. No, we're not fully committed.
We have to incept that better.
We have to inset that better?
Incept that better to Nick, so don't bring it up.
Incept.
No, we're incepting it right now to Nick because Nick is. Here's the thing people don't know about Nick Scarpino as he drinks his 19th Coke Zero of the day. How cold are you right now, Nick?
I'm good. I'm at a moderate level of coldness. We got the heat on. It's good.
Nick is an animal lover.
The Coke is ice cold.
It's pretty ice cold. Yeah. At this point though, the ice is melted in this one, so this is like an 80% cold factor. We're good.
I love that.
We're good.
Love that.
Nick is an
the thing,
animal
Greg.
lover. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Like when it comes to this tortoise situation and the
Sure.
terrarium, like
Sure.
before we went live and before Nick was even in this conversation, we were discussing.
I'm sorry. Hard stop. I'm pulling the e-brake. Of course, I'm talking as if you've watched all 12 hours of this. Many of you are new, just joining the Kind of Funny podcast as you normally would. You don't understand what's happening. Kevin's wife's sister has moved in to one of the rooms in Kevin's house. And with her, she has brought a 50-some-odd-year-old turtle. Right, Kevin? I'm not misquoting that?
I think it's like a 15-year-old turtle. It's 55 pounds.
Oh, my apologies. That's my confusion.
Yeah.
A tortoise has moved in as well. I am fascinated by this creature. I believe his name is Hector. I don't know what his fucking name is.
Boris?
Boris
Boris
the tortoise.
That's even better. I'm sorry. You know what, guys? Sometimes I swing the bat and I miss, all right? You think
Everyone
Mickey
can
Mantle
follow
was pitching
Boris.
perfect games and
Never.
knocking Babe Ruth out at first base every time?
He beat the
Wow.
fuck out of him,
I
Greg.
didn't-
He beat the
Remember-
shit out of Babe Ruth, man.
Was Mickey Mantle a pitcher?
A fight for
No,
the ages.
no, he
Okay.
wasn't. Anyways,
I was
all
We were,
right,
Yeah,
talking,
so-
we were talking about terrariums, and Kevin and I both agree that terrariums seem like a thing that Nick would be enthusiastic about. It'd be one of those weird surprises about Nick. I'm not saying necessarily he wants the tortoise to live in our studio. I'm just saying that I think he would like making a terrarium.
The thing is,
I
I would
think if
like.
he met
I
the
wouldn't
tortoise-
mind interacting with the tortoise, and if there was a
Totally.
terrarium at Kevin's house, I would drink and hang out and look at the terrarium.
Not a
Look
chance,
at
for
it.
sure.
Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in
So,
hell.
but here's what I
I would
want,
totally do
though,
that.
Nick. I
There's
suggest
got to be a
that
terrarium here, Nick.
we put it to a race. A race as old as time.
Sure.
We need to get somebody with a bunny,
sure.
and the
Got
bunny
it.
needs
You
to
wanna
race
know?
Maurice,
more.
Find your
right?
bunny.
Yeah, someone needs to hit
Trained
up
or
Maurice
untrained?
right now. What untrained bunny? What the fuck?
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Can you train it?
The tortoise might be trained. Just a heads up. I don't
Trained
know if
to
it's a
run?
fair advantage. I don't want to get into it. There's some legalities involved.
I mean, Tim, these turtles live for decades. You don't think at one point in its life,
Andy, way longer than that.
I mean, yeah, this thing is like 400 years old. At some point in its
Too-
life, it got
fucking
really
long.
into
This thing is-
sprinting.
You
This thing
overshot
is
it.
Yoda. Happening here.
I'm really interested.
Is that it? That's all we're gonna do. We're not gonna keep the conversation going.
Well, I was jumping over just real quick because chat said they could see the Slack there, so I then said hi through Slack to the chat. So I didn't miss. I
I
last
went
views.
into Slack and
So it's
turned
just-
off that setting, so hopefully they don't see any more notifications.
Even if they do, whatever. They're part of the company. Who cares?
Wait,
right,
they're
Andy?
hearing sounds?
I think maybe that's
No,
a
they
safe
were
thing to do.
like I have a
They're
little
seeing
pop-up
stuff.
notification on my first screen. That's
But
fine. No, I don't have a sound notification. It's a visual
But
notification. Okay.
Now you do.
But there's the turtle. There's the turtle. that Greg is fascinated with.
That's Boris. That's
Oh
Boris.
shit! I got to turn the live feed if I got to see this.
He's
tortoise.
a
There he
lot
is.
bigger
Amazing.
than he seems. In this
Oh, why did I
picture.
fucking sign out? God damn it.
I want to see this. I want to see this tortoise bad, Kevin.
I don't think I can bring him. He's like
You made a fence in your front yard. Is it because you're afraid of the tortoise escaping the smaller fence before, and now this new fence had to be installed because the tortoise is so big?
He wanted to give him a better home.
Yeah, a bigger, stronger home.
Is the tortoise living outside all the time, or does he have to come in at night?
He lives outside all the time.
That's fucking awesome. Does he have a doghouse?
Yes, he has a doghouse.
They don't call it that though. It's called the turtle house.
Tortoise house.
Tortoise house.
I mean, this one is a doghouse. I am planning, probably in the next 6 weeks, build a significantly larger and better insulated tortoise house.
Does he need warmth?
Yes.
Like, what does he need?
Yeah, they're cold blooded, right? So they'll hibernate if it gets too cold.
He's honestly like a heating pad. Like he just chills on it. That keeps him nice and warm. Heats up the blood, gets circulation going.
That's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny podcast each and every week, twice a week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around these microphones, each coming to bullshit with each other and you. If you like that, of course, go to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can write in with your own questions and topics for us to discuss. You can get the show ad-free. You can get the show with the exclusive post show we do each and every week. And of course, you can just have a good time and take care of us. If you have no bucks tossed our way, it's no big deal, of course. You can get the show for free on youtube.com/kindafunny, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe each and every week. Twice a week, of course, you'll have ads. You won't get the post show, but you get a show of us ranting and raving like lunatics. Housekeeping for you right now over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. You have a very special Let's Play. It is Snow Bike Mike and the Commish, a WWE superstar Xavier Woods playing Gears 5, a dream of mine to see Snow Bike Mike and Xavier Woods come together to nerd out and play games. And as usual, here's the thing, Nick.
Yes, sir.
You're a professional athlete. You go out there, you roll, you pull legs, you tell Andy to take off his shoe.
Right.
What I've noticed with Xavier Woods is every time he comes on a show, he's eating in the beginning of it.
Interesting.
Is that similar to you in terms of the amount of calories he's burning being a professional athlete and a podcaster that he needs to constantly be refueling?
You know, I don't know how many calories he burns on a daily basis, but I have to imagine in order to maintain his physique, he's working out a lot and probably has to eat a lot of protein and or carbohydrates depending on what his dietary needs are. Okay. I would say I could probably have stopped after the first bag of goldfish that I eat usually in a day.
Sure.
But then those wheat thins start calling to you, Andy, and you got to just go like, oh, am I going to play some more Warzone? Dude, I'm on this reduced fat wheat thin fucking train, man. It's just going fast.
I like a wheat thin. It's just not like wheat thin always seems like that one you stumble into by accident, and then you have you're like, oh, I really like this. I should get more of these, and then you never do.
Well, what happens is I really want a Triscuit, but the Triscuits are too filling. So what I'll do is I'll get the Triscuit's little cousin, the wheat thin, and then you remember how much you love wheat thins.
Kissing
and if
cousins.
you have some cheese in the house, you can chop up that like a mild cheddar, and you make the cube. You try to get the square exactly the same size as the wheat thin square, and then you can put another on top of it and go, look, I'm a giant. I'm eating a cheese sandwich.
This is similar to when I eat broccoli, and I think I'm like that Jurassic Park dinosaur that only ate, was a Vegisaurus. Because they look like trees, of course, right? So you think about I always think about what if I crash landed on a planet and there was smaller creatures there, but then their trees were broccoli and I was eating those, and then they'd think I was some kind of monster, but I was really just somebody who crash landed on the planet and like broccoli, because that'd be my problem.
What dinosaur do you think Greg most relates to? Like,
great question.
That one.
The Brachiosaurus?
If I had to guess, the one he just said, he feels like a lot.
If we had to guess, that's the one he thinks about most.
I think Greg is more like from Land Before Time, spiky.
Okay, let's try Triceratops. Oh no, Stegosaurus.
You know?
Yeah.
That he has great energy. Heart of gold.
Got it. Okay.
This is a non sequitur.
On this show?
Do you guys remember the show Dinosaurs?
Yeah. Isn't it coming back now?
Disney Plus, baby.
Is it really?
The old one.
Did you ever look into the story of dinosaurs? I know what a fascinating story it was.
I just thought it was the weirdest fucking show that was ever made.
But if you remember,
right? Puppets, right?
Yeah. The story behind Dinosaurs was that it was fucking killing. It was doing incredibly well on the ratings, and it was like a top tier show for ABC. I might be wrong on that part, but the problem was that it cost so much to make that they canceled it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're like, it's doing great, but like, we can't afford to keep the show going, so they had to cancel it. And
What
that's what
was
Earl-
so expensive
Netflix.
about it? Was it the actors?
Oh, it's all the
or-
giant puppets, yeah, like or whatever they were, like not animatronics, but people in suits with puppeted mouths and like the eyes moving. Like it looked awesome. It holds up when you watch it because it was like all practical effects.
That's how you always know, Greg. You can always spot a person in costume from a mile away. Only the left arm moves. Right arm for the mouth. Left arm.
Oh yeah, you're
moving.
making fun of Muppets. Yeah, Muppets suck. I'm glad we're on the same page about that. You feel bad for these people like Elise Willems who got duped. You know what I mean? They got duped.
So weird.
Oh, this thing's
What do
helped
they
me
like
process
about
my
it?
feelings. Now I'm going to talk about it forever and ever and ever and ever. Does it
Oh,
ever
that's
evolve?
helpful.
No. Big Bird's still a big old idiot.
Oh
sitting
no!
around.
I'm gonna watch this
Robbie,
movie starring
though.
Bill Murray, where he's just an asshole to everyone all the time.
Yep,
Then I'll start
yep.
a company where we hire other people that are and we can just make fun of them too.
Robbie from Dinosaurs is like the coolest dude of all time. And I
can see
tweeted
that.
one time I tweeted a picture of him and Lola Bunny from Space Jam. And there was just a bunch of perverts that were responding. All of them were just disgusting, trying to like,
Disgusting.
imply something
Damn,
that I
sounds
was
really
saying
hot. That sounds
that
hot.
I wasn't trying to say.
Are you
Necessarily.
Did you accidentally like thumbs up any of those posts? They're like when they were getting dirty. Where you
I
like,
just put a picture of them
accidentally-
together, but like I will say that multiple women came forth and were like, "This looks like Andy," and like, man, I have never
Oh
wanted
my
to be Andy more
God.
than that.
Barrett, is it possible
It
to throw
does
up,
look like
throw up a
Andy.
photo of Robbie the
Holy
dinosaur from
shit.
Dinosaurs?
I had never heard that. Darshell
Mhm.
was the one who was like, Andy, you remind me of Robbie from Dinosaurs.
It's amazing. It's uncanny.
Yeah.
And he's
That
got
is-
that cool varsity jacket. He probably
Like, Andy,
has
how does that
quarterback.
make you feel? Like real talk.
I feel awesome. It makes me feel great. Yeah, it's a great compliment. I'll take
amazing.
it. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I like obviously Lola Bunny, was an
Well, he's-
awakening for many of us.
An
Is
icon.
he jacked? Why is he so jacked in this picture?
Oh, he's a dinosaur.
I doubt that's a real official photo. Whatever you're
No.
looking at.
Hold on, am I crazy? Am I
Robbie's got a
crazy?
giant. Robbie's got a giant dong.
Nick found the Rule 34 Robbie stuff.
No, this looked like it's legit.
Here we go,
Look,
this
maybe
stream.
he was like doing some sort of steroid in the episode or something, but he looks jacked.
You
in
send it
this.
to Barrett?
Send it,
Can you
yeah, send it to
Hold
Barrett.
on.
I want to see what you're
send
talking
it
about
to
because
me.
I do remember a bunch of different dinosaur
Actually, just
storylines.
assets. Send it to assets.
I'm the baby,
Assets.
gotta love me. Remember the baby, not the mama.
No,
Yeah, the little
mama.
baby.
Why
Now
did
they
he
are.
sing it though? Did he sing it?
No,
Was
Barrett,
that
Yeah.
don't have that
I'm
there.
the baby, gotta love. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the song.
What the fuck?
Why is he so
No.
jacked in this?
Well, yeah, he's clearly on.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, this is a special episode,
Yeah,
probably. where
he
took
got
roids.
on drugs. Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my
that
God,
was the thing
he's
about dinosaurs.
huge.
Dinosaurs taught you lessons, and I'm not gonna name names blessing, but you could learn some lessons from watching them.
I'm raising my hand right now.
Andy Cortez.
Andy.
Is this or is this not the location where they filmed Boy Meets World as well? The same set, the lockers. The
Again,
Probably
those
was.
are caveman lockers, so it's a little
no,
bit
but the
hard to tell.
structure of like the
The
structure,
structure
of, like,
looks
the room.
very similar. The structure looks very
does
similar.
look similar, but I don't think
Wait,
it is.
don't-
Because
all
here's what I can
schools
picture.
have
Here's what I can
basically the same
picture right
structure?
here. I can picture Sean Hunter or that jerk ass with the
Harley.
the bully dude
Harvey.
Harley, and
Minkus.
he's
Harvey
talking
Dent.
to
No,
he's talking to
Not Harvey Dent.
Harvey Klein. Harvey
There
Klein.
you go.
he's talking to the guy from Parks
Harley
and Rec,
Quinn.
who is also where he plays the cool guy. He's a real cool guy.
I didn't watch Parks and Rec. I can't help you.
Great guy.
Here,
Yeah.
I mean, your timelines kind of
scared
match
me.
up because Dinosaurs was
Griff.
91 to 94, and Boy Meets World, of course, 93 to 2000. So
Griff
there
was
could've been
Adam
crossover.
Scott. Adam Scott was Griff. There was nobody
Really?
cooler than Griff. Everybody wanted to be Griff. Griff showed up for a couple of episodes in Boy Meets World. The coolest fucking hair.
That was
and
Adam
it's
Scott?
Adam Scott, just super good looking dude.
What?
Badass guy. Yeah, dude. You remember the Griff episodes? Amazing, dude.
Barrett
I
put
he
never
can't-
put
I'm
together
looking
that's
it up, don't
fucking
worry.
Adam Scott.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Damn,
because he popped
that
in.
is-
Damn,
Yeah.
he was hot.
He popped in and he challenged Harley. Like Harley thought he was the
Yeah.
badass, and then Griff popped up and it was like suddenly everybody loves Griff, and then Harley's kind of like, oh shit, he's taking my shit from me. What's
when you
going
look
on
at
here?
these Griff photos, tell me right now if they were making Twilight back then, he wouldn't be Edward Cullen. You know
Oh,
what
yeah,
I
he
mean?
totally would
He's
be,
got
yeah.
the look, man.
The hair,
got
like, what a
the-
phenomenal head of hair.
Sha-na-na-na-na.
That's
Well, Nick,
crazy.
what would you do for that head of hair right
Oh
now?
my god, what wouldn't I do, man? Look at that thing. It's what the thing is, like it's too much hair. It actually looks bad because it's too much hair.
Nah, you're crazy.
Exactly. That was a test, Andy. You just fucking passed. You just fucking passed, bro.
Whatever you got to tell yourself to go to sleep tonight, Nick.
Exactly.
Too much hair. Ladies and gentlemen, like we were saying, Snowbike Mike, Xavier Woods, Gears 5, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Thank you to our Patreon producers for the month of this would have been December, I guess, 2020. Kieran O'Donnell, Steve Powers, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, Alexander Knoxel, Bill I.M. Today, we're brought to you by the Kind of Funny Next Gen podcast, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's get back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
How's the stream been for you, Tim?
It's been great, man. Everyone's killing it. I've just been popping in every couple hours, seeing what's up, seeing what's going on. Learned a lot about Bloodborne. You can ring a bell and people come. I also learned that Kevin is not only infuriating to me, he can be infuriating to everyone else, and then it's more fun. You know, I feel like I'm so often the target of it. Oh no, I mean, somehow I mean this as a compliment.
Yeah, I see where we're going with this.
Yeah. So you shut your mouth. Right?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see the compliment. We'll go with this. We'll
I mean, like
so
to make it the compliment, it was like I was kind of just there for the ride. I was just like, I was an audience member, and I'm like, you know what? Kevin's pretty fucking funny. So it's like that's the compliment. It's just
so it sounds like the opposite. You know what I mean? It sounds like the opposite. It sounds like I was enjoyable, comedic timing. You know.
Also, the funniest thing that came out of Kevin's mouth all day today was Kermit the Crab. Kermit the Crab is the greatest thing, and I want to see nothing but pictures of that on Reddit.
That's already on the subreddit. Yeah, if you go to the Kind of Funny subreddit over there, I saw. Can somebody explain it exactly to me? Because I saw it. This is my introduction to. Hey, guess what? Kermit the Crab was when I clicked over here onto the subreddit and just saw it.
I was doing some impression. I don't know if it was Cookie Monster. I think it was Cookie Monster, actually. And Kevin, if you listen back to the clip, about 60% of the way through the word crab realized, no, Kermit is not a crab. But it was just the delivery of it was like, oh, that sounded like Kermit the Crab. And then, from then, it was just done. It was just done. We died.
Speaking of the Reddit real quick, I need to bring this up because I was Greg Miller style wheeze laughing at something that was posted on the subreddit today.
Hear about that often,
Kev or Barrett, whoever has access, can you please bring this up? Pause it.
That's disgusting.
Wait, sorry.
What the hell?
Sorry, I brought it into the call. That was my bad. Okay. I didn't mean to do that.
All right. So,
Kevin, in or out, buddy? Blessing, in or out? You guys got to figure it out, you know?
I'm just out here vibing. I'm just chilling.
Blessing's making funny little comments, not on the podcast. He's doing it in a live chat. Pick a lane. Are you in here with us doing the podcast, or are you over there with them?
I just want to address, you said that I need to learn from dinosaurs, and Greg, I learn from you all the time, and so you should calm down, sir.
Calm down.
Oh, man, it would have been better if it was a Nick burn, but like it's good enough.
There's a place, and someone just got put in that place.
Nick can only take so much. You know what I mean? Nick can
I love that. I love that. ButGham Plays with a Z on the subreddit says, listening to the Kind of Funny podcast on half speed is like being the designated driver and your buddies are trashed in the backseat talking about nothing. So I'm going to need all of us to shut the fuck up for 30 seconds.
I'm going to mute myself.
To listen to us talk last week in half speed. Okay?
Okay. So I gotta share my screen.
Bear, you want me to just handle it? Because I just handled it a minute ago. You want me to do it one more time?
Yeah. You can do it from there.
Yeah. Because I have it all set up well. All right, here we go. Ready?
Was milk and Pepsi. Thank you. That was disgusting. That's disgusting.
Oh, I mean, that kind of sounds like a root beer float sort of thing.
Yeah, except for it's not ice cream, it's milk. You see the difference there?
That's what it was, Kevin. Thank you for looking that up. I tried it one time and I was like, no, I don't like this at all.
Tomato, Kevin.
Greg, what's going on with this fried chicken ice cream you got going on here?
Oh,
how did we make money off of this?
oh my God. I was like, with the setup Tim gave it, there's no way it can live up to that. That lived up to it and surpassed it. Holy shit.
How do people pay us for that?
We like for reals, like that was like okay, speed it up as much as you want. It's still not worth it. Like
no.
My favorite, yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously, when we start the new year and we do the Kind of Funny Day and we do the big stream, there's so much excitement behind it. And then this year, I really did feel like we're doing what we do even better. We're really learning from what we've done in moving on. But even with that, there's been we finished the Kind of Funny podcast, and I'm like, they are either going to love this or hate it. And when I go into the comments in the morning and I look at it and people are like, they just talked about whatever bullshit they talked, and I loved it. I'm like, all right, great. We've established what this show is, and the people the 20,000 people who show up on YouTube and the thousands and thousands that show up as an audio listener, you get it. And that means so much to me that you understand what we're going for with this version of the show. And I'm so thrilled about it.
Yeah, I think it's a random grab bag. Like, I think sometimes we just bring random shit that's happened to us. Or
last week's where it pivoted from whatever stupid thing it was to the really hardcore Harry Potter talk. I was like, Jesus.
or we have really great questions from the community, from Patreon, that are really good kind of conversation starters. I love doing this show, and I'm so glad. I've already mentioned this a couple times, but I love that we have this second Kind of Funny podcast with a guest. I think it's what I've always wanted. My favorite things that I've done were like the God of War Cory Barlog spoiler cast, because I think I have questions every once in a while, but when you guys can fill the other spots when I don't, perfect. So the amount of times I want to do it, We Have Cool Friends, but I'm like, I'm not Greg. I can't sit here and interview somebody for that long. I just can't do that. The Mina Kimes interview from ESPN is heavily edited. I just don't have that. But talking with Mike Drucker and Xavier Woods, and hopefully we keep on getting guests that come in here and just kind of vibe with us, because it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
We got some good ones coming. I was going to say, look into the calendar, man. Oh, is Greg about to reveal some shit?
This week, of course, it's published author Megaran coming through to talk about his new book, Dream Master. Very excited about that.
So we have two published authors back to back.
Look out, New York Times. We're going to start our own bestseller list.
Crazy.
Tim, why does that book look so much smaller in your hand than I imagined it would be? I thought it was like a full-size hardback cover book. I pulled it up. It's like a tiny little thing. I like it. It's like a travel book.
It has a lot of pages, though.
But it's like 20 font, 20-point font.
I'd say that's one of my secret delights, like a small book with a lot of pages. And it doesn't have to be a book. It doesn't have to have any content. It could just be little notepads. But I love finding cool little novelty.
What's this do for you right here? Small book?
No, I'd go a little bit smaller. Okay.
What book is that?
Good sound.
This is a book I've had for like 6 months that I've never read, but it's a classic, Neuromancer.
Okay.
But I'm like, I played Cyberpunk. I get it. You know what I mean? Like
you walk into that room and you're like, I want to read the book. You look at it and you look at your keyboard and mouse plugged into your PS5. You're like, gotta click Warzone.
It's more fun. That's honestly 100% true. I've turned into a complete and total addict when it comes to Warzone lately. And you know what?
Where do you think your skill level is now?
I'm still at the novice level for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely if let's put it this way, if I were if I had to lead a team that didn't consist of high level players like Mike and Andy and like SpaceX and all those guys, it would be bad. It would be very bad. So all these guys are definitely elevating me for sure.
Had some good wins today. Nick, how much would I have to, because I always think about things that are constants in our lives and things that we are at a point addicted to. Like, for example, me and caffeine or me and energy drinks. How much would I have to get paid to say, you can't consume this for a year or 2 years or whatever? Like, what's the limit? Because we always hear the question of, would you give up video games for this amount of time or for the rest of time if blah, blah, blah happens? Whatever that may be, whatever, your student loans get paid off, whatever the fuck. And like, the addiction is early there for Nick. I think he's a little too early in with video games. But is there something in your life, Nick, that you think about, like, what would I give up? Would I take this amount of money if I had to give up coffee or Diet Coke or Coke Zero?
I mean, I would. If someone paid me to give up Diet Coke, I would be happy about that. I need the incentive because I drink way too much Diet Coke. Coffee, on the other hand, $20, huh? Put it out. Let me see it. I don't believe you got it.
It's going to be Venmo. It's going to be Venmo.
No, but I probably wouldn't. Coffee, it would take a lot of money. Diet Coke, I'd probably take like a reasonable amount of money to give up for a year, just because I'd love to get off Diet Coke, because I don't think I don't feel great after the 7th Diet Coke. and I haven't had water all day, and I'm like, oof, this is bad. But coffee, there's only so much coffee you can drink before you're like, I gotta have some water because I'm getting loopy. So I do a lot better.
What's a reasonable amount though for a year's worth of Diet Coke?
A year's worth of Diet Coke. I mean, Kevin, you're my agent. Like, what are you gonna broker? What do you think is a reasonable amount?
Nick, just to be clear, I'm your pimp. Not your agent.
Similar.
This around.
Wait, I'm sorry, let me get this
Just
right.
to
Kevin,
be clear, I want everyone to know that.
Just so I have it on the record. You're my Coke pimp. That's what you're talking about? You go out.
That's
Okay,
right.
cool.
That's right.
I'm down.
Yeah,
as my Coke pimp, Kevin, what do you think would be a reasonable amount of money to pay me to not drink, to not do Coke into my system for a whole year?
For the
100K?
DC. No,
10K.
that's
10K.
unreasonable.
Think about
You're being
the
unreasonable.
CZ. Think about the CZ.
Would you do it for $5? Would you do it for $5?
$5,000?
Yeah.
I will never fucking forget the day that Gia met Nick, and it was at a Patreon
No,
party.
don't say it. Don't say
And
it.
we're all hanging out, having a good time. And at
Jesus,
the end
what
of the
did I
night,
say?
we go home. And it's nothing that's going to surprise you. But Gia looks at me and she just goes like she's talking about everyone she met, and like remembered a whole bunch of people that I'm like, oh, I'm really close to them. I'm happy that you actually seem to like them. And she goes, yeah. Like Nick though, like he needs help, right?
Coke addiction.
It took me I was like, what? And she was just like, I mean, like, I've never heard somebody that is that into cocaine. And I was like, oh my God. No.
I remember
Nick's never once done cocaine.
It's scary to me. It scares me.
On camera.
No matter
Has
how
he
many
not?
times
Talks
I
about
offered to
God,
do it.
no.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It scares me too.
Damn,
I
Wes.
was just so
Blessing
many
wasn't
people
like
were
when your
bringing it up.
heroes fall in front of you.
Wes, were you hoping I'd guide you into through that mountaintop, or
I mean, maybe. I don't know. This is like hearing that Michael Jordan never played basketball. I've listened to more Reggie shows and kind of funny podcasts.
feel that you not doing cocaine in Blessing's mind is Michael Jordan not playing basketball.
I mean, first off, if you're going to compare me to Michael Jordan in any capacity, bless, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I got
Secondly, I know for a fact that people that do cocaine don't talk about doing cocaine as much as I do. And I did absolutely go through in the earlier phases. You know, you're right what you know, Greg. When I was like nervous being on camera a lot, I made a lot of cocaine jokes. I went through a cocaine joke phase.
You knew that was funny.
It's
You knew
hilarious.
drug addiction to cocaine was funny.
I mean,
So that's what you'll bring it up over and over again.
have you ever been to a party where you're not doing cocaine and everyone around you is doing
No.
cocaine?
I'd
It's
sure you.
hilarious.
You write
How
what
do
you
write
know.
what you know? How is that writing what you know?
Because I've seen a bunch of people doing cocaine before in my life. I've
But
just
like
never
you
done it.
haven't done. Okay, got it.
I mean, I can observe what people are doing, Kevin, and extrapolate that they're going fucking crazy for this white powder. And then when I go to bed, they're still up doing the white powder.
Yeah.
So I don't really necessarily need to like fucking ingest it myself to understand it. Plus, I've seen the movie Blow.
Yeah.
Real
great
scientists
movie.
would
Oh, you
go.
Great movie. Yeah.
Write what you know. I've seen the movie Blow. Here we are. Nick, a stand-up comedian that is now the center of a documentary about stand-up comedians. I love it. How far we've come.
I think about
funny.
I think about it all the time. Oh, sorry, Greg. I was gonna say, like, me and my addiction to caffeine. I don't know if I could drop that. I don't know. I would love to. I would love for it to be taken away from me. Maybe like a judge says you cannot have energy drinks anymore. You can't have caffeine. Because I'd love to regulate myself and my expectations. Because again, there's some people in my life that'll tell me like, oh yeah, it's a little too late to be drinking this soda. I'm like,
Barrett.
I fucking wish a soda could do anything to me.
I don't
energy-wise.
feel anymore.
Yeah, like I am
don't think
so
ever see
far
Andy
past all
late
of
enough
that.
ever to be able to tell him that. Like he's just, I don't know. Like,
But I do-
He's so hyped up on caffeine, he thinks there's people in his fucking room talking to him, being like,
I
"No."
do really long for the reality though, where Andy does leave his room at 2 a.m. to get a soda to keep streaming, and it's Barrett there, like he's got his robe on and he's got a pipe or something, like an old dad would be, and just be like, you really need another
Yeah, you
soda,
really
son?
need another
Like that's
soda.
what you need right
You
now.
really need another energy drink?
Yeah. What I should start doing is I should start having Lulu like sleep next to the fridge, and so when you go to the fridge,
Growl.
she'll give you those like sad puppy dog eyes, like Andy, please don't.
No,
do
she'll
this."
just snap at me. She'll snap at me.
Yeah.
I
She's
get
a
too
distrust of men, which is probably like for the best.
But where are we at with that? Because last I heard, Lulu could only be fed by Andy while she was rehabbing or whatever.
Yeah, that was like a whole trust situation because we were all like giving her medicine, and Andy is like always the fun guy. So it was like, oh,
Sure.
you're not the one giving me medicine. I'll trust you to give.
But
me
then,
food.
oh no! But that lasted for like 2 seconds until Alyssa was like, "Oh, Andy, go get the other food. Try to feed her this. Try to feed her this thing, like because that I've been trying to." So, but you have to make it look like it's from you. So I went into the kitchen, grabbed the bowl, took it up to Lulu. She put her little snout in there, like nibbled twice, and then started growling at me. And I was like, "Fuck,
figured it out.
She's
Figured
like,
it out.
For her own
don't try
good.
this
It's really
shit.
Bro,
That's
you
character
fucking-
assassination right there.
She
You know,
knows you're
she gotta ruin
undercover
yours.
fucking cop, man. That's narc. You
Yeah.
fucking narc.
You were gonna read
DJ
something, Greg? Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
DJ Kento writes in to patreon.com/kindafunny, just like you can to be part of the show, and says, if you could bring a single movie with no sequels that's not part of a franchise in review, what would it be?
A single movie that's not part of a sequel.
So
Not
if
part
we
of
were
a
doing
franchise.
some kind of in review that was just one-off movies, what would be the movie you'd want to bring in? You understand? So like
Yeah.
Space Jam, but there's 2 now, so there you go, it's done. You just failed. I just blew you out of the
It's not
airlock.
out yet though. We could watch Space Jam to lead up into Space Jam 2.
Well,
That's
yeah,
how the review works.
Well, thanks for spoiling what was going to be the $120,000 super stretch goal, Space Jam in review. I mean, I'm dragging out that one.
and it's
Sorry,
not
what?
a surprise. My answer is simple. It's not a surprise. Nick, you know the answer, and it is
Fucking Speed Racer, the fucking
Thank
movie,
you.
every
Thank you
single
very
time. I would, you know, what? I would love for everyone to watch Speed Racer. We should do Speed Racer as a one-off, and then I won't be on that podcast because that's definitely gonna be what I get torn apart in the comments for. Nick doesn't understand cinema. They shot it with a deep depth of
It's
field
just
on
good
purpose.
story. It's good storytelling.
at you. You know what? I don't even want to say this because it's that weird, like, I can change the narrative based on what I say here because of devil's advocate shit. But I believe that if Nick went into Speed Racer with an open mind and with the new mind that he has, thanks to us, me and Kevin, he'd appreciate the fuck out of it. I bet that.
I will say this. If we were to just go off and if we were to do a one-off review of Speed Racer, I would give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
I absolutely would. I would go and watch it again. But I will say,
Tim, let's
about a
do
year
it.
and a
Let's
half
do
ago,
it.
I tried watching it again, and I got about 20 minutes in, and I was like,
Yeah,
this
but
is
like that's the thing. You could
Borealis
like
in
you
the
have
chat
to.
says it's on Watch Party on Amazon.
I mean, that's pretty. No,
That's
but see, that's
fate.
not what, I don't. No. I don't want to watch along with a bunch of chat people trying to make fun of it. and like,
I do.
You don't want to watch
Chatty,
along
chatty,
and
chat,
have
chat.
a good time and have all these people appreciate
No,
it.
I
No,
mean,
but he's
no,
right. We have to
Barrett,
treat it with
I
the
see, I see
Hear me
Tim's
out.
point on this. I see Tim's
Me,
point on this.
Barrett,
Like,
Tim, Speed Racer
No.
stream.
No.
Blessing, what do you come down on? You like Speed Racer? You like this movie?
I watched Speed Racer once in theater and I loved it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it
How
since
old were
then.
you?
And so, when did it
3.
come out? Like 2010? I probably would have been like
Probably before that, actually.
2010. I would have been like 16.
Right.
I
feel like it was right after the
Teen-ish.
Matrix movies, right?
Hold on.
2008.
2008.
No.
2008.
So yeah, I was.
Damn,
in-
I
How
was
old were you there,
14.
Yeah,
I was
you were a
14.
kid. You were just seeing bright
Yeah.
lights, colorful things,
Yeah, I
and be
was
like,
in 7th
ooh,
grade.
ah.
Because when I think of that actor, I always think of the
Emil
girl
Hirsch.
next door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really
The
Emil-
one with Justin,
Emil
and the one
Hirsch.
with Justin Timberlake.
Oh God, not
Dog,
Smoking Aces,
dog,
the Alpha
day
Dog,
afternoon,
Alpha Dog.
Dog.
That movie was fucked.
I never
up.
watched that one, I don't think.
It was.
Based on a true story. Yeah, it was messed up.
I think of him from that movie where he dies in the Emil Hirsch kid, where he dies in the van, where he,
Into
eats
the Wild.
he eats the wrong thing. Yeah.
Is it good? I never watched it.
Nah. I mean, it's just no, it's not.
Nah.
It's not bad, but it's. I mean,
Well, it's like because
you
that,
get to it,
was
you're
also
like, yeah,
based
you
on a
got
real
what you
story,
deserved.
right?
You want to go live off the land? That's what you're gonna
Yeah.
get. There's a
You're
reason we built
unprepared for
houses,
that.
you moron.
Exactly.
Wait,
You should
so
probably do a little prep work.
Andy and Greg,
Hi.
what are your stances on Speed Racer? Because I'm not sure I know them.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, mine was I watched the trailer and had no affinity for the cartoon before, and I was like, doesn't seem like something I don't care about.
We gotta do this.
But I always
Spe-
see that. So not only does Tim always talk about it and love it, so does Anthony Carboni, so does Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps. They love it. They think it's like it's sort of like that play. Like it's perfect for that place and time. You know, for it's kind of like an Edgar Wright movie, I would say.
Dude,
you know,
honestly,
you watch it, it
that's-
kind of inspires you.
That's the thing. It's Edgar Wright-esque. I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10. I'm not saying it's a perfect or even like fantastic movie. It's just, it is everything that Dragon Ball Evolution is not. it is like, oh, we're just going to give the people exactly what they're looking for from a Speed Racer film. And for somebody that like kind of grew up like semi watching the Speed Racer things and thinking it was like shit, I did not like Speed Racer at all, the cartoon, because it's garbage. I loved the movie because it like took the world and made it so much more fun and stuck true to what it could be, which is colorful and fat. It's like an F-Zero movie.
Yeah.
Rad.
Andy, what do you want to put on the list? Yeah.
I would probably put in I'm trying to think of movies that maybe you all haven't seen, but I don't really like, I don't know if there's any movies that we always talk about that Greg is like, oh, I haven't seen it. I'm like, oh, dude, Greg, you got to watch this movie. Aside from that, I would probably go with Goodfellas. Is always a fun watch. I love Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, what a great movie.
Great,
but like,
although,
even then, I hold out hope for a Scorsese review one day when Tim comes to his senses.
Me too.
Oh man, I don't know. I just tried to watch an early Scorsese movie called After Hours that I had read some good things about, and I'm like, this is really difficult to get through. It's pretty rough.
What do you mean?
Sadly, it's just not very good at all. It's like he tried to make a comedy, but he did it in the Scorsese style, which his style unfortunately doesn't like that earlier style of Scorsese doesn't really lend itself too well to comedy. So it ends up being like off-putting, and you're like, am I supposed to laugh right now, or is this supposed to be like? It kind of reminds me of like an art indie film where you not really know what the tone is because the director doesn't want you to know what the tone is. You know what I mean? He wants to keep you on your toes. It is very weird. I don't know.
A couple.
What movie did you go with, Nick?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, I mean, if we're just doing a one-off movie, and again, I hold. I think I brought this up before, but I hold out for a John Carpenter interview one day too. But I would love to do Big Trouble in Little China. I love that movie. Have you guys seen it? Go around the table.
We watched it recently it was one of those when we were going through, I think, quarantine or whatever, and it was at times, flat circle of like, man, we started watching some 80s movies, and it was like Big Trouble, and I was like, I remember loving this as a kid. I don't remember anything about it, and we watched it and it finished, and I was like, that was a movie. That was the thing.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I did not like it, but I was just like, it's hard to believe that this has such a following behind it.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it. I always we've talked about this before, but I always mix it up with the Jackie Chan movie. The title's very similar. Something.
Not Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Rumble in the Bronx. There it is.
Bronx,
yeah. Thank you so much. I always mix up those titles for whatever reason. It's a location and it's something happening in the location. There's Big Trouble in Little China. There's a Rumble in the Bronx. I always mix them up. I had to Google it. I was like, oh, it's Kurt Russell. I thought.
Tim, where do you come in on Big Trouble in Little China?
Never seen it.
Wow.
Never seen Rumble in the Bronx either.
Rumble in the Bronx. You can skip Rumble in the Bronx. You don't need to worry too much about that one.
It's just cool.
I've also never seen Geely.
If we want to never saw Geely either. No, never saw that one.
But definitely. Sorry to go back to Andy.
No, I haven't. Barrett.
Oh, interesting. Rumble in the Bronx would not be the Jackie Chan, one of the Jackie Chan movies that I would recommend to watch first. It's fine if you want, but I remember he went on a tear of like Super Cop, Police Story, I think was one of the movies, and like a bunch of other movies that I watched. I was like, this is amazing. But by the time we got to Rumble in the Bronx, I was like, I've seen this act too many times. Honestly, it did. It kind of gets a little
oh my
old.
gosh. Of course. The Departed, right? Yeah. Like easy. Saving Private Ryan is one that I would just absolutely adore. Saving Private Ryan is one of my favorite movies ever.
About though,
What's that again?
No, nobody could hear you. What'd you say, Barrett?
That would be a depressing one to do an in review for, though.
No.
I mean, we all watch Suicide Squad. We can take anything.
Yeah, we can do it.
We drank poison. Fair. Bear, what was your pick?
I don't know if it would make a good in review, but Birdman. I really love that movie, and I don't feel like I've actually sat down and had a conversation with people about that movie.
Sorry, which one?
That's a good one.
Birdman with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. It wasn't written around him, but it feels very much like it was written around him, where he's like this kind of dried up old actor who was the star of this hit action movie in the 80s and 90s called Birdman, which is kind of a foil to Batman for Keaton, and he's trying to run this this play in New York, and he's trying to like revitalize his career by pursuing like the masterful, like doing something that's masterfully done in like the art realm, rather than doing something that like just makes him super popular, like an action movie. And it's really, really cool. And it's like all done in like one. It seems like it's all done in one shot. Like they kind of
Nick, have you not seen this?
Birdman? Yeah, I just didn't hear what you said the first time. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I saw it too. What do you think of it?
I liked it. I definitely liked it. I mean, it's obviously very meaningful because it kind of echoes Michael Keaton's original career, which got super popular in the 80s and then hit Batman and then kind of went downhill. And now thank God he's back and doing a lot of awesome work.
Spider-Man Homecoming, that's what did it.
It's really cool. I don't normally like movies that kind of revolve around like a gimmick, like it's all one shot. But because it does revolve around them putting up a stage play and they go in and out of the stage play itself, I think it works really, really well. Yeah. And also Michael Keaton really channels that inner energy of being sort of pigeonholed as Batman and having to chase, being chased after that demon for so long in his own personal life. It's actually really cool. Also Emma Stone's and it's great cast. Just a really great cast.
I like Zach Galifianakis as like kind of the straight man in that movie too.
Yeah,
it's
kind of weird
for him. And then the other one I wanted to shout out is V for Vendetta, just because
that's a great movie.
A really fun one. So
that's a really good movie.
What?
A fun thing about Birdman before we move on from that real quick is it was one of the first movies me and G watched together when we were like first dating. And it was like definitely a bonding moment for us because I was coming in from the like, oh yeah, Michael Keaton, he's Batman. Like that's what this whole thing is about. She had no idea, didn't know that side of it. And there's a whole other side of that movie that nerds like us don't fucking know. That is the play/literary side of the books it's based on, the authors that are referenced, all that stuff. And she was like totally in on that. So we were both kind of like doing the,
you complete me,
Facts of the Furious type shit to each other. And I was like, whoa, there's so much shit I would have never known. And it's really cool because like that movie very much is like a lot of references to things that you think you know all of them, but I doubt most of the chat right now would have both sides. I'm sure there's some people, but that's because you're educated.
I would love to do Black Sheep just so you all could see how funny it is, okay?
Here's the thing, Andy. We can do Black Sheep, but you can't watch Tommy Boy beforehand. Because that's the problem. If you watch
that would be the thing. We'd have to do Farley in review.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the test that I've always been trying to get Kevin to do is to watch True Detective Season 2 first, and then Season 1.
Andy, I might start it today.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah.
Nick Scarpino, you should say?
Yeah.
Now,
wait,
Tim,
real quick before Nick.
Go ahead, Kev.
Sorry, I just want to chime in really quick and say Alan Moore in review would be really interesting. That's Watchmen, V for Vendetta, League of Extraordinary
Gentlemen.
Thank you. Free From Hell, and then Batman: The Killing Joke. Might be fun.
Now, Tim, I hold in this hand my opinion, a negative opinion of Beverly Hills Ninja. And I hold in this hand a positive opinion of Beverly Hills Ninja. Which hand do you think we're going with when we hit
They're the
that
same
movie?
hand. They're the same hand.
It's all positive. It's all positive. That movie is fucking hilarious. I don't care what anyone says.
It's not. I hated that movie, man. That's what, like, even I, as a young child, was like,
he's done. He's done.
Yeah.
How much gas is in the tank for this bit? Because it is still going.
It's like when you're watching a fighter and he just loses really fast in the first round, and you're like, oh no, he's not the same. He lost it, dude. He just lost it.
There was a moment in the playoffs where the Spurs played the Thunder, and Ibaka blocked Tim Duncan, and I was like, this is the end. And it was, and he retired.
That was it.
But it was like, that was the moment where I was like, Chris Farley, I don't know about this anymore, man.
And Tommy Boy was on TV yesterday. I watched a little bit of it.
Hell yeah.
Tim, I don't know, Nick, and then they had fucking the movie after where he had died during the filming of it.
Shrek.
Almost Famous. No, not Almost Famous.
No, I was like, I don't think he was in that.
I'm a golden god.
It's the Wilderness one.
East. Wagons East.
No, it's the Wilderness one.
Wagons East is the one that that was Canadian Bacon, right?
With Matthew Perry, where he has to go out. It's like they're
Almost Heroes. There it is. Almost Heroes.
Which one's that one?
It was one of he was like a wilderness, like a Davy Crockett type. Like he had a little raccoon hat and.
What am I thinking?
I don't know.
Heroes.
It was
Kevin, if you could add one-off movie
this is the movie
into
I'm
an
thinking,
review, what would you put in?
Oh, Tim's Frozen?
The Mario Bros movie.
Oh, fuck, you weren't Frozen? Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, Kev. Dude, fantastic fucking answer. So I was thinking, I was like, I have three other answers, and one of them was Mario Brothers, the movie. Like, I would love to rewatch that and talk to you guys about it because, like, obviously, it is absolute trash, but it has moments of brilliance, and the production design in that movie is unfucking real. It is like it's such an
insane.
80s movie, and it came out in the early 90s.
It must have been huge, right?
That's the thing. Is like the set design is so incredibly
It's so
cool.
intricate.
It's on some Blade Runner shit, man.
Yeah.
Like the movie sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because I wasn't obviously like a huge when I was a kid.
You were
shocker.
a Sega kid. You were a Sega kid.
No, I definitely wasn't a Sega kid, but I didn't think there was any story to Mario at all. And like I know you guys know Nintendo a lot more than me, and like you guys are a lot more embedded in that world. But I remember watching that movie, and I'm like, I don't know a lot about Mario. I don't know that there's a deep story here, but I'm pretty sure this isn't it. Like, how far off the mark were they with that movie?
I mean, entirely. Like,
there's documentaries. They're fascinating.
They made most of that.
That might be, guys. That might be a really good in review where we do the movie and then several documentaries on like how absurd everything was.
Dude, I watched a whole YouTube documentary about how bad it was, like how it got there, and it's fascinating. There's crazy shit that went down with that movie.
Yeah, totally. But like, honestly, I'd love to do it because I think Nick would be very fascinated.
Oh, I'd love to go back.
Production.
I mean, I watched that when I was a kid. I watched that in theaters, and I remember thinking, this is fucking weird and like kind of scary and twisted. So
Totally.
I'd love to go back and watch that movie again.
But Kev, so Super Mario, another one that I was thinking of that I think you're gonna love is We're Back.
We were just talking about that on some stream.
We were, Kevin. Yeah, the dinosaur one.
Thank you.
But like, I want to know, is We're Back actually fucking incredible? Because like, I haven't seen it in 20 years at least. But
I think it's a lot weirder than we think. And I remember it being fucking weird.
But I think it's weird in an adult, like, awesome fucking way.
Real quick, you said Gone Girl early, and I'm gonna veto that because if we were to do Gone Girl, we would have to do David Fincher in review because fucking 7 Gone Girl. Yeah. What's the other? Hold on.
I always thought 12 Monkeys and 7 were in the same universe. Or 13 Monkeys. What's it called?
12.
No, you're right.
13 Monkeys. No, is it 12? 12. You're right. I'm sorry. Sorry. Fight Club. Yeah.
Unless that was happening while I was grabbing a drink, Joey, get on the board. What's your one-off movie that you'd want on this in review we're doing?
Oh, Social Network would be a good one too. Good job.
Yeah.
She's still different.
Here's what I'll
I don't know. Nothing, not according to this. It's just
as another one. Just
no. You only got one. Everybody only got one here. All right. I wrote down the first thing you all said. It's fine. I wrote down your first ones for the list we're establishing.
Jazz.
Greg, we're playing jazz right now, okay?
Jazz.
Trumper wants to come in for a second solo. Let him go.
Let Nick pick up his little triangle.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm chronicling everyone's first pick. Your first pick is the pick that goes on the official list for establishing.
Can I replace my first pick?
No, you fucked up. You jumped out. You jumped out of the plane, Blessing. You jumped out of the plane.
Blessing, I hate when he gets like this too. I hate.
Come back in the plane. Come back in the plane.
What do you want? You don't want Space Jam anymore because you realize that was a dumb pick. This is why on this show when Andy's like, "Hey, the genie's gonna give you a bunch of wishes," I sit there and I think and I ask a million questions. I don't just commit. That's why I got the best drinks on the planet Mars.
I want to throw out there One Night in Miami. It's a very recent movie. I don't know if you guys have heard of One Night in Miami.
One Night in Miami.
It's directed by Regina King. Basically, it's a movie about Cassius Clay.
It's brand new on Amazon, right?
Yeah, it's on Amazon right now. Yeah, it came out December 25th last year. It's Cassius Clay, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and Malcolm X, and they're basically in a hotel together, just hanging out over the course of
fictional conversation, right, or something with them. Yeah.
I mean, it's based on a real night that did happen with them, but it is a fictionalized version of what happened in that hotel room that night and what transpired. And it's basically them talking about the civil rights movement, because it's during the peak of the civil rights movement, all that is them talking about their different careers as very successful Black men during this time. And then them also like having back and forths and getting to arguments about if they're doing enough for the community, like what they could be doing. Malcolm X is like getting into fights with Sam Cooke and all this stuff, all based on like real people and real quote unquote real conversations.
Yeah, because the pitch from Amazon actually stopped me from watching it. Where it was One Night in Miami, and One Night in Miami is a fictional account of one incredible night. When I read that, I thought it was saying that it was like a made up thing, like a writer took what he knew about all these different characters or people, put them in the room as characters.
Scenario, yeah.
I mean, the actual details of how the movie goes down is fictionalized, but it is based on like there was a night in Miami where all of them were hanging out together and all that stuff.
Okay.
I think it could be like a fun if you get like a good cast together for a one-off in review episode. I think that could be like a fun thing.
2, I just want to shout out from the chat because one is relevant to Tim because it's still absurd that he's never seen this movie. Is 8 Mile. And then Party Sauce says just the Digimon movie in review, which hell yeah.
Well, here the 2 I wanted to call from the chat that I wrote down were Demolition Man from Timur Hussein, of course, because we all know Tam's obsession with Demolition Man. And then Gifted Dim 63 had Ex Machina on there, which I appreciated.
Great movie. Tim, have you seen Demolition Man, right?
I have not.
Tim,
oh
so
man,
good. It's
Tim,
so good.
Wow,
we've talked about
Demolition
this.
Man.
We've talked about this ad nauseum, but I will say this: in Demolition Man, and I've told you this before. I just want to see your reaction because I love it. The only restaurant that survives like the apocalypse is Taco Bell.
Nick, I want you to know
it's the greatest thing ever. I know I've said it before.
No, you haven't said it to me before. You explained it to me as we walked into the recreation at Comic-Con when there was a Taco Bell that was turned into the Demolition Man Taco Bell.
The futuristic one, yeah.
And they paid Sandra Bullock a lot of money to say now all restaurants are Taco Bell. And like looked at the camera and was just, and then like off camera, someone just handed her a stack of money.
Now you're aware that over in Europe it had to be Pizza Hut, right?
You did. I remember you telling me that on a podcast.
Tam has this
it's a
cut.
fun little-
I know this is how I learned that Tamora is such a huge Demolition Man fan. Where one day Lucy was like, I was like, do you want to do this pizza thing or whatever? She's like, no, I'm staying late at work. Tam showing us the Pizza Hut cut of Demolition Man. I was like, what the fuck is that?
That blew my mind, by the way.
Cut.
That blew my mind almost as much as when they were like, over here we got the Sorcerer's Stone, and over there they got the Philosopher's Stone. And I was like, I don't understand. You can just name a book something different in a different country. I don't understand how this goes.
I would love. Here's a series I would love to do, but we would have to do it a different way, where we put all the movies into a bowl and pick a different order. Because I don't want to get it. I don't want it to get too depressing and bummed out at the end of it. Will Ferrell in review, because his later movies are so terrible, but there's so many good movies in the beginning and in the middle.
Good ones in there though, like Stranger
You
Than
better not be
Fiction's
putting
really
Elf in the later movies.
No. I'm thinking of like the one he.
Well, Elf was like his first movie.
The Sherlock movie he just did. Sherlock
Oh god.
Yeah, you're right.
That
When
so
you're
bad.
right. When you're right, you're right. Andy.
Again, that's a past your prime sort of thing where you're
Now-
seeing the superstars just like just not in shape anymore. Like you gotta
it's
hang
just
it
a
up,
money
big
grab.
dog.
Here-
But
here's
I
a-
think of the other guys all the time, and it's such a good movie.
Here's what I'm going to say, Andy. I watched Step Brothers the first time, and I didn't think it was funny at all. I was like, this movie is dumb.
Yep.
Up that. I don't think Will
100%.
Ferrell is that funny. I don't
It's
find
one
him
of
that
those things
funny.
where I went back and watched it maybe 2 more times for some reason. And on the 3rd time, I was like, oh, I apologize. This movie is genius. So I fully expect 6 years. We just don't understand Holmes and Watson. We just don't get it. We don't have the language
6 years
for
from
it.
now, we'll get it. We'll get it. It'll be clear to us.
Something tells me that's different. But for me, Step Brothers, and I've told this on the podcast before, but I watched it in theaters and I hated it. I was like, I don't like, fuck this. Fuck Will Ferrell. This isn't funny at all. And then years later, I heard people like making jokes and they're like, oh, it's a quote from Step Brothers. And I didn't believe them because it was so funny. And as I kept going on, I realized people were quoting Step Brothers all the time. And I thought it was funny. And then I rewatched it. I'm like, this might be the most quotable movie of all
Did
time.
we just become best friends?
It's so fucking good, dude. All the room for
Catalina wine
activities,
next
the Catalina wine. Oh my
Dude,
god,
my favorite line
So
in the
good.
whole movie is such a stupid small line, but it's like, why are you sweating? I was watching Cops.
so funny.
It's the dumbest fucking line of all time.
Movie I want to toss on there for for my movie to toss on is Tombstone. I love Tombstone.
I just watched
Never.
that. He had
Anytime
never
I can watch
seen that.
Tombstone, oh my god, that's one of those movies I'd love to erase from my mind and go back.
It's so good.
I would add on there only because I want Tim to invite me over to watch this. And
Yo,
we get a bunch of
anytime, let's do
we get
it.
a bunch of pizza, Tim. We get a bunch of Coke Zeros and
Hell yeah.
cool sodas. 1917. I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Oh, I haven't either.
That's not exactly a party movie, though. Andy.
No, but I
Eating the pizza, drinking your Coke Zeros.
Nick. If I was told like, Andy, you have to stay in this room, there are monsters outside. If I have pizza, like that makes it
That's a good
little
point,
bit
good
better.
point.
Yeah, it makes anything better. Yeah.
1917 is one of those movies. Again, going back to like the idea of like I don't love movies that try to do like the one-shot gimmicky kind of thing, but it really,
I
really
love
works for that movie.
Y'all are wrong.
I mean, I just think it has to be back up the story, right? It has to back up the experience. And 1917 is a movie that if you are watching on a phone, please put it down and go find the biggest screen you can possibly find with the best sound possible. Turn your phone off, throw it out the fucking window, and just watch it because it is an unbelievable experience and accomplishment.
So a similar thing to that is, Andy, like, this is different. I mean, I would love to do this in review just so we can talk about it all. But I don't know if you ever see this movie, but specifically, Andy, I want you to watch Spring Breakers.
Yes, Andy. Yes. Tim, I was thinking about it.
Have you ever seen it?
Never seen it.
Look at all my shit.
Oh my God. Like, Andy,
Oh my shit.
it is such a you movie. And again, this is like, I'm saying this in a way of like, it's not going to be your favorite movie of all time. You're going to love it though. Like, you're going to love watching it and just being like, what the fuck is this?
Here's what we're gonna do, Tim. We're gonna get Andy a standard definition DVD of Spring Breakers, and we're gonna send it to his house, and he has to watch it on like standard def DVD letterbox.
You're gonna give me a tube TV.
Yeah, we gotta get you a CRT from back in the day.
Chris Anka in chat says he's done Spring Breakers fan art.
Chris, I need that now in my life. Spring Breakers was a rev of fucking late.
Chris, text it to me, and then I can put it into Slack, and then Barrett can pull it up.
I don't know if
it
it's
is
stuff that I want to pull up.
Horrible.
What's up, Joe?
I'm coming in with an update because you guys, I've been trying to do this for 20 minutes and you guys are on a fucking roll. It's impossible to get in.
Really?
Why didn't you use the point where we said, hey, Joey, what's your favorite movie? And we were met with stunning silence.
Oh, probably because I was trying to go out and get dinner that I had delivered, I would assume.
What'd you get?
90, I got The Habit.
Just going let her talk.
First of all, I'm going to say this too. I want you guys to rewatch Rat Race and do Rat Race.
I knew you were going to say that. What a pain. Rat Race.
Joey was going to say that.
You know, it's so good. We're at $93,612.
You guys have to prove Tim wrong. He says 95,000 is impossible.
Fucking crazy.
He says
what's in 95?
He doesn't want to give the kids the Oreos.
95 is Oreo-ration.
I thought it was. Get us to Oreo-ration. Come on. Let's get this Lady Gaga collab I was tweeting about.
I want to eat these Oreos so bad.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. To recap DJ Kento's question, if you could bring a single movie with no sequels that's not part of a franchise to in review, what would it be? The list looks like this. One Night in Miami from Blessing. Speed Racer from Tim. Goodfellas from Andy. Big Trouble in Little China from Nick. Birdman from Barrett. Mario Brothers from Kevin. Rat Race from Joey. Tombstone from Greg. Demolition Man from Tam. And I'll toss in Ex Machina from Gifted Dim. It was still on my list.
Can we do a movie night where we watch Demolition Man? Because I've always wanted to watch that.
100%. Absolutely. We can make that next month.
Snowbike Mike, where are you? Snowbike Mike, where are you?
We were going to do RoboCop, but we can watch Demolition Man. And honestly, Demolition Man is one of those movies that I think would be great for a watch party if you haven't seen it before. Because it's not that hard to follow.
What about when they have sex?
That's fun.
Sex?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
but
I
you think Blessing?
I'm watching this on a
Blessing.
big screen.
Not the way you think.
Blessing.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a penis and boobs out there, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
On Amazon.
how
And
delicately
Amazon can't say
Andy said
shit,
penis.
dude. Amazon can't say shit about
we-
it. It's on their platform.
I was gonna ask him to show this on Twitch, but I guess we don't have to because it'll just be us.
If
Oh,
it's
right,
on, if it, yeah, it'll just be us watching it. We have to figure out the platform that can do the watch party with it. So hopefully it's on Amazon.
I mean,
I'm sure it's on Amazon. People just have to rent it.
It is on Amazon. It is not on Amazon Prime.
We've been talking about this movie for 6 months, so we got to watch this movie next month. So here's what I'll say.
Let's watch it.
Everyone out there who wants to rent this, go ahead and rent it. There you go.
Snowbike Mike, you are here. You have heard that Demolition Man will be a movie to be watched next month. Are you excited about it?
Check mark. Super pumped up. Blessing. Grab your popcorn. Let's do it.
Grabbing it right now.
Snowbike Mike, while we have you,
Guys, he's on his phone. He's probably
He's
taking
on
his
his phone,
dogs
yeah.
out.
I want to watch. I want to
Not a
watch
big
that
deal.
shit tonight.
Snowbike
Yeah,
Mike,
me too,
while we
man.
have you, what would be the movie you would want to see that has no sequels and is not part of a franchise in review or on in review?
Don't be a menace while drinking your juice in South Central.
Wow.
Okay.
Don't
I thought you were gonna go last Boy Scout for a hot second.
Don't be a
there,
menace
Mike.
in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
In the hood. Yeah.
Thank you. That would be my choice.
Fantastic.
We'll accept it.
Shit,
Thank you.
Andy, Devs is on Hulu now?
It always was on Hulu.
Oh,
Always
really?
was.
I thought that was
Yeah,
Apple.
always
Never
was.
mind.
Yeah, it was
I
a-
No, it was an
excited.
FX. It was an FX thing.
My bad.
You love it, Kev. You gotta watch it.
Tim, Spring Breakers is the movie with Vanessa Hudgens and all them, right?
Sure is.
I've always wanted to watch that movie. I've never gotten around to it.
Bless, you've never seen it? Oh my God. We have to
it's-
figure this out.
It's ridiculous because I look at that cast, and every time I see that cast, I'm like, I need to watch this movie because I love all of them.
No. Blessing, I want you to stop right there. It is nothing of what you expect. It's not that kind of movie.
I need you to stop right now.
It is a
I've
movie that
seen
I
the
swear to
I've
God
seen the
almost killed
trailer.
Vanessa Hudgens' career. Spring break forever.
Vanessa
None of
Hudgens has
this
already
is
killed
true.
Vanessa Hudgens' career.
Yeah,
You see the video earlier this year where she was like, people are gonna die from coronavirus. Who cares?
Plus, you say
Or she
this
went on that
video.
rant.
Have you seen any video for Vanessa Hudgens this year?
I've seen them all. I've seen them all.
I love.
I follow her on
You're gonna
TikTok.
love Spring
God bless
Breakers,
you.
bro. It's awesome.
Oh, I think he's
Unless
still gonna
you're a
love it.
Selena
Don't get me wrong.
Gomez fan.
I think he's gonna love it, but just temper your expectations. It's weird as shit. Maybe makes no sense. It's like it's like watching a dream, but with
It's Vanessa Hudgens, Selena Gomez, and Ashley Tisdale, right?
I believe
No,
that's
no,
correct.
no,
I don't know the third one, but
no.
Selena Gomez
It's
is
not.
one of them, right?
Yes.
Who's the
for
third one?
A while. It's the girlfriend of the director,
Harmony Korine or whatever. his
Ashley
name is?
Benson.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Either way, I'm down. I'm in.
dude.
so you're
Bless. You're gonna have such a great time. It's one of the worst movies of all time. You're gonna love it. though.
I'm very excited about this.
Pretty objectively bad. Yeah.
I need this tape to be scrubbed because I don't want to be a part of this conversation of you calling a Selena Gomez movie a bad movie. Because keep in mind, my mom did say, Andy, I think you should date Selena Gomez, as if we have those types of connections.
I mean, your mom's right.
So when the relationship
Hold
eventually
on, full
happened,
stop.
What's up?
We're gonna go have a word from our sponsor. But when we come back, we're going to figure out how many degrees we are from Andy from Selena Gomez.
Oh, Gary
right,
Whitta. She was
it.
on Gary Whitta's show.
Oh
Ladies-
my God.
Is that that thanks for
What a
announcing the ad.
solution.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, you can get the show ad free on patreon.com/kindafunny. But you didn't do that apparently. So here is the ad. This episode of the Kinda Funny podcast is brought to you by the KF Next Gen podcast. Barrett, I've been talking about this podcast for a while. Of course, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, over on patreon.com/kindafunny and patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can get all the shows we do ad free and with the post show and all that jazz. But if you do the gold subscription over there, of course, you get both Patreons, meaning that you get the games and the Kinda Funny Prime content all on one channel, all ad free. You can ask questions, anything, you do anything you want, but you also get the KF Next Gen podcast. Now, Barrett, when you talk about this podcast, when you do this podcast, I've listened to this podcast, I enjoy this podcast, but I've been saying the Kinda Funny Next Gen podcast and then shortening it to the KF podcast, but I see it says KF. Do you ever call it the Kinda Funny Next Gen podcast, or is it strictly the KF Next Gen podcast?
I call it KF Next Gen. I
Okay,
mean, we've
okay,
only recorded one episode ever, Greg.
Which means it's very loose still.
Yeah,
Anything can happen.
it's in its infancy here, so it's very loose. We spent like half of the time in the first episode just talking about like cartoons and shit.
Sure.
As a little teaser to get maybe entice people for the next episode that we have to record. I think this coming week, Gregory Miller. The topic that I want to bring up, since Blessing, Roger, and I have a history with this, is talking about video essays and our like creative process. In making
I like that a
video
lot.
essays. So,
Yeah, if you don't understand, of course, KF Next Gen podcast is Barrett, Roger, and Blessing doing a podcast that's Patreon exclusive, only ever goes up on Patreon, all about being, the next generation of Kinda Funny, which I think is super amazing, and I love listening to it and feeling how old I am.
You're so old.
So old. If you want to feel old too, go on over to patreon.com/kindafunny or patreon.com/kindafunnygames and get the KF Next Gen podcast. All right, so she was on Gary Whitta. Do we count that, though? That's not a friendship. Gary Whitta went through PR, I'm sure. It's not like he can just hit up PR and then there we are, right? We're trying to find somebody. We're trying to find somebody we know who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Also, Gary's never hooked us up with anyone. So
100%. Gary Whitta said, I can get you Bill Murray's 800 number. Never did.
I do like to believe there's a world where Gary and Selena Gomez are like friends and used to text, but then like Gary kind of ghosted her a little bit, and she's like, I wonder what Gary's been up to for a while. He hasn't texted me back.
Gary's in our
Animal
Slack
Crossing
channel asking for games, and he won't even tell us, hey, can we get George Lucas on the podcast? He won't even hook that up, dude. Yeah. He's getting all the free games he wants.
If George Lucas came on our podcast,
we don't want to talk to him.
I mean, oh my god,
Kevin has
that would be interesting. How do you think that would go, Greg? How do you think it would go if George Lucas was like, "Hey, everyone, I'm George Lucas"? I'm like, cool.
It'll go the
Yeah,
exact
probably
way
talk
any
shit
of
about
it would
George.
always go. You would roll over and show your belly in a heartbeat, Nick. It's the same thing if we got Zack Snyder on the show. You'd all sit there and eat your humble fucking pie.
No,
You don't think it'd be as weird and like almost like cringy as the Tony Hawk interview? Because I feel like that's the territory that we know with George Lucas.
No,
with George Lucas, I think so.
Barrett, the difference is I know stuff about George Lucas. I would actually prepare if George Lucas was coming on the podcast. I did not. I thought, Tim, I was like 15 minutes. We could do 15 minutes. Oh my God, it was 4 hours and Tony Hawk were up there sweating. Oh man, no, but Lucas would be. I mean, let's put it this way: we give Zack Snyder shit for like the DC movies, but there are movies of his that I like. I like 300 a lot. I love Watchmen, and I actually didn't dislike Man of Steel. So there's stuff we could talk to him about. But I would love to pick his brain and be like,
that he edits. Zack Snyder is a visionary for fucking sure. He just made a lot of bad choices and made too much money. So now he's just too far up his own ass.
I would like him as a visual director, similar to Guillermo del Toro, where they have a really good visual style.
Do you not like Guillermo del Toro's movies?
you can say it, Barrett. It's okay. I'm with you on this.
What? Come on, Pan's Labyrinth. Come on, guys.
It's just like I
like The Shape of Water.
I appreciate more of his visual direction more than like his actual like directing. If that makes sense.
I'm with you on that.
Not that it's bad.
Hellboy.
I think the movies. I think most of his movies, Hellboy is whatever. But I think like Shape of
Hellboy
Water, Pan's Labyrinth. I think they're good. They're just not for me. That's one of those things. Like his level of storytelling is unbelievable.
Again, it's not because it's not that I'm saying he's a bad director. I just like I appreciate more of his visual direction.
Well, I already tweeted at him, so.
All right, cool.
I don't want George Lucas on this show.
Are you telling me you wouldn't? But you wouldn't want to be like George.
Tim is canceling George Lucas before he can even get here.
We're not doing it.
George Lucas came on the podcast.
I'm going to say some disrespectful words. I'm telling you right now.
If George Lucas came on the podcast and before that he hit up Greg, so George Lucas DMs Greg Miller. Hey George, hey Greg, just got this Twitter thing. Hope I'm using it right. Can I come on your podcast? I want to tell you my true feelings about the newest movies and the prequels. You're going to tell me you're not going to let that man have just go hard in the paint on the last 3 movies that came out?
Tim, he's talking to you. I mean, George Lucas, if you're watching, you have an open invitation to come on my podcast. I don't care.
I mean, I'm going to be real. I've done a lot of podcasts with you guys. I've seen a lot of things. We've made jokes. We've made references. I know how people act in certain situations.
He's a billionaire. He'll kill us.
I do not want to see Nick talk to George Lucas. I don't think I can handle it. I think that would be the thing that broke me and Nick's relationship. Like, I wouldn't be able to see Nick talk to George Lucas about what's up, Nick?
Hold on, before that you go,
before you go, question.
No, before you go, Nick, before you go, please. ZD Grow in the chat says the name of this episode is "We Refuse to Have George Lucas on the Podcast."
Perfect. My first question, right out of the gate, George. What's with the dice? What is the significance of the dice? You know what I mean? Just come out hot with him and see if you can answer that question.
George.
Exactly. Play some mind games with him. You see what I'm saying? He'd be like, I had nothing to do with that. That's how we get on his side. We open it up a little bit. We say, you put that dice there, right?
Nick.
No.
Greg Miller.
I think we're all. I think
buddy.
Kevin. I think you and I see eye to eye with George Lucas. I think he'd love both of us. I think he'd hate Andy. Oh, what's up, Andy?
I don't think so.
The year is 2016. I want to say.
Okay.
We're sitting next to each other within feet. It's
We're
pre-corona. It's all good.
touching it. Yeah.
There's
we're
me
making
contact with Nick, and Nick's essentially making contact with Tony Hawk, one of my goddamn idols. And we're sitting there and we're doing an interview. And I'm not gonna put the blame fully on you, Nick. I'm not. I admit neither of us are Greg Miller. I understand that.
We just didn't do any prep work. We fucked up.
I did a lot of prep work. I was totally prepped. Nick kept talking, and Nick at some point brought up yoga, and then he wouldn't stop talking about yoga, and it kept going down that path.
Now, to be fair, I don't remember it going down that way. I remember you
blacked out.
running out of questions 5 minutes in, and then us having to fill 10 minutes, and Tony Hawk checking his watch a bunch of times.
That's not what happened.
Not what happened. Not what happened at all. So that's why I do not want George. Exactly, you can. So that's why I do not want George Lucas.
Should we pull it up?
I've never watched this interview. I've never watched this interview. I'm looking at it right now.
Let's not do that's not good content.
No,
Us watching
oh my God, it was
one of
30
our
minutes. That's
bad
how much it was.
videos to make fun of Nick.
No,
It's not making fun of anybody. I'm looking into it.
I'll admit 100% I was terrible on that. I'll 100% admit I was terrible on that. But I remember distinctly having that conversation with Tim where I was like, should I go back and play all the games beforehand? And Tim's like, bro, he's like, dude, I got this. And I was like, all right, man. And he's like, you just go in there, Nick, and you talk about yoga like you always do. He'll think it's endearing.
Just do what you do. Just do it.
I'm bullshitting. That was definitely one of those interviews where I was like, dude, I think we're going to be fine on this. And it was a mistake. I learned a lesson that day.
Fine.
I learned a very big lesson.
To be fair, he was representing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. So it was his bad.
No one wanted to be there.
No one fucking wanted to be there. Except for me. I was stoked.
So I'm looking through it, right? I haven't, like I said, ever watched it. Yeah, it went up in 2015, June 16th, 2015. So this is the first year we were on our own. This is when we did the GameSpot stage where they had the 2 stages and we ran one, they ran one. There's a lot of funny comments in here, including one from a year ago saying, checking this out after Nick mentioned it on Internet Explorers. But by far, the one that is the funniest right here is Casey Lawton from 5 years ago that says, IGN must love this lol. Oh my god!
And you know what's sad, and this speaks to, I don't know if it speaks positively or negatively about GameSpot. They hired us back the next year.
So they didn't give us the entire.
They gave us the secondary stage.
Then they gave us the stage again one more year. Then the next year they're like, you know what? We're gonna bring in other people to do it with you. Like, it's not just gonna be kind of funny.
Puiseco says the description says Tim and Greg on it.
Perfect. I like to believe there's someone out there that's only ever listened to Greg, like podcast guy, never seen what he looks like, and thinks that I'm him, and like, wow, he really dropped the ball on this one. I don't know what this guy's been doing.
That's a W for Nick.
just an FYI, like when we posted these a long time ago, there's just one person handling every aspect. Like maybe Tim would write it, just copy and paste. This kid was just copying and pasting. Probably put up 30 videos that day. It's not his fault. If you
remember correctly, this is also the year, Kevin, where the sound engineer fell asleep in the booth.
Yep.
And you were like, Nick, I don't know if that's professional or not. I was like, Kev, it's not professional.
It's not.
This is the year with the IFB, right? That was just a live mic in the back that you couldn't turn off.
Yeah.
So like Kev would pull it up and say something and then have to put it down and like cover it. So like you wouldn't constantly hear everything that was going on back there.
That's because the guy fell asleep. It actually was, I think it was hooked up to an audio channel, but the guy kept snoring in it. So Kevin's like, fuck, I'll just keep it on. What a great day.
It's funny to look back at this too, though, because obviously when do we ever look back at our old content? But it's like, you say that you make the joke of like, I know neither of us are Greg Miller or whatever, which is similar to what Andy was saying about his interviews before or whatever. But then you just looking at this and like just watching you guys, and I can't hear it obviously, but you guys interact with Tony Hawk and like how far you've come as interviewers, and the fact that it was like literally, like. I mean, and I'm not. This isn't a knock at all.
Go for it, Greg.
No. But I mean, like
what it is.
What you figure? This is June, so 6 months before then, Nick was always behind the camera. And like, what did we do? We just threw you and him on stage. We're like, you can fucking talk to people. Talk to people.
I'll never forget. Like, and this is. I mean, honestly, this is sometimes what has to happen. We're hosting the Gamestop Expo in Vegas. I think it was in Vegas this year, and I had to host like the Star Trek. Bridges, I think.
Bridge crew.
Oh, right.
And I was terrified to start that because it was the first time I ever had to come out of the package and do an intro. And if you remember correctly, like every time I do an intro, I'd get so nervous, I'd speed through it and then stumble and then say something completely non sequitur. And then the cast would be like, what the fuck is he talking about? And I still do it sometimes today, but I'll never forget. Greg's like, I'm like, dude, I did the first one. And then I think I had to host another segment. And Greg's like, dude, you're in your head. It's not that important. You're building so much into this just because I was like, I got to get their names right and stuff. He's like, just have them introduce themselves. And I was like, oh, you can do that? Like, this is a thing you can do? That's professional? And then after a while, we were just like, maybe we just don't do interviews like that anymore. And now I don't.
And I got over it by never having to do it again.
Yeah. Hey, almost did, but he got winged. Almost did, but he got winged.
The problem is I worked. Oh God, I know. I worked next to Greg for so long that he makes it look easy. All kidding aside. And so when you get up there and it's quiet and everyone's looking at the camera and the guy's like, go. and you don't start, and then there's that one moment of like, am I ever going to talk again? I don't know. My mouth is so dry.
Every second burns into your body of silence. Like every second of silence is the worst pain you've ever felt in your life.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Honestly, that's been one of the roughest things I think about the pandemic, right? Is that I was really looking forward to having those opportunities in 2020/2021 so that Blessing would get taken down a peg. But because he hasn't had to do that, he just keeps rising so quickly. You know, how many years did I have to work in this fucking industry before
he's
I was
unstoppable,
mentioned in Game Awards?
Nothing
and
will
he's
take
just fucking...
And I've already gotten a Game Award honor. That took you like, what, 7 years?
I mean, you don't have the trophy, though. That's the big thing. You know,
they don't have that kind of money anymore.
Yeah, Bless, like, bringing this up is like when you compared yourself to Alana Pierce age-wise, where it was like, they're different types of awards, you know what I mean? One's more of like an honorable mention, and the other one's a trophy where you had it like
comparing their age, they are the same age, though, Kevin.
That's all I was saying. All I was saying was me and Alana Pierce are the same age.
Yeah, let's remember the context. Bless or fucking Barrett, relax. Let's remember the context. He was like, I don't know why people keep thinking I'm young, and then he said Alana Pierce is the same age as him. You know, and it's like, you know, people compare what they've done. It's just a lot.
I was comparing our age, which is accurate. It's accurate.
I will say that I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about.
I will say Alana does. She does give off
I was
a
here
more
for this one. Way more mature. I mean, not mature, like
vibe than you, Blessing, though.
Well, Alana's had like key
Blessing,
positions in like multiple places.
Where we talked about you saying "ooh."
She's taller, plus.
Yeah, but that's behind a Patreon paywall. Most people won't hear that.
Barrett, I've totally asked Chris Anka to text me a Spring Breakers fan art and then forgot about it.
God, I need this.
Oh God.
I think that's okay to show on Twitch. Yeah. Like, there's no nips or buts, right?
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
So I can see it.
Yeah.
No, I want him to show it on air. It's just
I'm
fan
gonna show
art.
it on air, but I'm not sharing my screen, so I gotta.
Oh, do you want to send it to me and I can show it on air? Or
can we? Are we sure this is okay?
Andy, what are the rules about showing stuff on fucking streams and stuff?
Oh, this is fine.
Okay.
Here, let me. I'll share it.
Chris Anka
Through the screen here.
Chris Anka's talented. I don't know if you know that about this.
I spent a lot of time with Chris Anka. I don't know if you know, but Chris Anka and I are now homies. That's
Chris Anka joining us for Magic Mike in review.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Amazing.
Very excited about.
A lot of gifted subs are being given out. Thank you, Torbanok. Thank you, Forever Alone Ranger. That's a good name. Thank you, Boca J35.
Let's put it this way. I trust.
Look at that. That's great. That's art right there.
I trust Chris Anka with my life when we drop into the zone.
Oh my
because
God.
he tells me how to kit out my weapons.
The weapons arbiter, Chris Anka.
This is fantastic.
It's amazing as always, Chris. Great job. I love to think about the first time I brought Chris Anka in to come on, and it was like for a Comic Cast or whatever it was, and it was just like he was like so quiet and unassuming, and like I remember you guys came back from a lunch and I introduced you, and it was just like that was it, and now like Nick is playing fucking Call of Duty with him every night.
It's the best, man.
I would have never known. I would have never known because I remember watching, like, Chris would pop into my streams, and even recently he's mentioned like, I remember watching you stream this and that back in the day.
Yeah. He's a true kind of funny best friend.
Talking about like my Apex streams, and I was like, oh shit, I was like, oh, Chris Anka, of course, from the fucking incredible artist. He's been on We Have Cool Friends, but it was
Comic Book Club.
Comic Book Club. Yeah.
He was on Game Over Greggy's show too.
Yeah, absolutely. And for people who are listening to us talking about it right now, who the hell's Chris Anka? He's very, very good at drawing. He drew the KFVR shirt that we have on sale right now at kindoffunny.com.
He drew the Marvel Comics Runaways Forever. Now he's working on Into the Spider-Verse 2.
A little movie called Into the Spider-Verse 2. Pretty cool stuff.
Little RDJ there.
Oh, was that? Oh,
little
I didn't
movie.
mean it. How about
he
that?
did the Cyndaquil.
Oh, wow.
Really? You haven't seen the laptop in a long time, but
oh wow,
yeah, boom.
I miss seeing that laptop.
I don't. That's when
What?
Tim's. It's business Tim time right now. He's gonna read me some spreadsheet.
When I ever see the laptop, it's like we're doing a games daily, and we're doing Internet Explorers, and you see it, and you just see the little Cyndaquil on top of the hype, and I'm like, I'm getting good vibes from this.
Shit.
Yeah. No, because I picture Tim with it in his left hand, and his right hand somehow holding like 4 LaCroix cans.
Yeah.
And he sits down. I'm like, Tim, you don't need that much LaCroix.
And somehow,
like,
even though I have no idea how he does it. The LaCroix cans always matches Jordan's. I'm not quite sure how he does it.
You got to do it, guys. Come on, man. Step one.
Miss the studio. We'll get there one day.
We're going to get there. We're going to get back there.
Greg, Golden Phoenix in the chat says, my first GameStop Managers Expo had Greg and Tim running the Square Enix panel, and it was awesome. It's what made me a Kind of Funny best friend.
God damn.
And
I remember that.
Putting that alongside the conversation of me and Nick doing the Tony Hawk interview at E3 and us not being prepared and all that, for me and Greg to be thrown into a room where Greg,
it's like a driving class, right?
Can you explain what we did?
Sure. So GameStop Managers Expo. We've talked about it before, the live show we did there. They have a show floor like E3 that's for the managers to come to and go and see different games and play different games, right? Very much E3 like. They do sell tickets to the public, didn't they? There wasn't that one of the things they did back in the day. But on top of that, the real hook to it is that publishers go there and get, like, I forget if it's 45 minutes or an hour, but they get a slot to talk to the GameStop managers and do a presentation for all their games that are coming up. So when you walk into a GameStop, the manager's like, oh, I have seen this game. I know a little bit about it, even if they haven't played it. Honestly, it's a great fucking idea. It's like a boot camp of all the games that are coming out for the next year. I really think it's awesome. But what that means is that the publishers show up and give demonstrations, do these hour-long panels in, what is it, like 6 times a day for 2 days or whatever. And so, 1 year Square hired us to come do it, which meant that it was, the scripted thing. They had a bunch of there was the ad lib parts. It was all bullet points for us to go off there and do it. But after we rehearsed it a couple of times, like, we had a thing. And so it was me and Tim, like, on the hour doing this presentation, running through a litany of Hitman 2 was one of them at the time.
Nier Automata.
Yeah, of course, Dragon Quest Builders, because I came off stage and I for 6, or I guess it would have been like 12 times total, right? I came off the stage into the crowd, stood on a chair, and gave a speech about the Vita. And I always changed it a little bit to keep it interesting for me, but it was just this ridiculous thing of, like, what I love about the industry is there's always these different channels to actually keep learning and growing, especially for us, in terms of hosts and podcasts and all this stuff. So to have this it was after we had already done Final Fantasy 15 event, right? So it was like something similar to that, but a completely different audience and a different way to do it and a different vibe to it. And it was like this really cool merging of what we already do at a PAX panel, what we already do at the podcast, what we did for Final Fantasy, but on this different scale of come to Vegas, do these presentations and shit. It was weird as hell.
But the best part of all of it, though, was we were so unapologetically us. So that was what, 2017 probably?
Something like that.
And it's funny because, like, we acted like we are 2021 us at that point. And, like, what I'm about to say makes us sound like assholes. But, like, if you know who we are, it's like you also know that it's just us standing up for who we are. And we get there, start doing this, we do rehearsals, and everyone in the room is dying. They're all about it, they're all laughing. And then the fucking Moneybags guy was just like, I don't know if they're gonna be okay with that, as much as you guys are talking about the Vita and whatever. And Greg literally looked at him and just goes, I mean, we're gonna do it though, so I've hard cut to us every single time doing it, and God, that guy just powered Greg up. He went so hard. Like, the joke that Greg read in dress rehearsals was kind of just like, oh man, and it's best on Vita, wink. And it ended with Greg shirtless, standing in the middle of a fucking crowd, making the whole crowd chant Vita, 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 Vita.
That's so Greg going, and that's when I took that personal.
Exactly.
It's I always say it very publicly, and I hope you then with this and a million other things understand that when you see us do a sponsorship, you see us host something, you see whatever we do, the rules are simple. You've come and hired us because we're us. That you know what that means, and I'm gonna joke around about PC, and I'm gonna talk about Vita, and I'm gonna do this thing. And if we get to the end of the diving board, and you're like, I'm gonna be like, I'm jumping, or we walk. I don't care. I'm not gonna fucking kowtow to you on this stupid ass thing. I don't need this. I'm doing this for fun more than anything.
God bless it, and God bless you for it.
And that's why we are middlingly popular, because you either totally love that or that is not your jam, and I understand either way. Scary. Whatever you think of Kind of Funny is what you think of it, and that's how it's got to be.
Earlier, Tim, Nick admitted He told us in secret, right? But I'm spilling the secret right now. He said, "Don't tell Tim, Andy, but I miss E3."
I do. I do.
I miss E3.
I love that, Nick. Because like for years I was so like mad's not even the word. Hurt is really the word. Because I'm like, E3 is the fucking best thing in the world. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yes, it's blah 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 blah. But it's not for you, and it wasn't for you, and that was always the thing where I'm like, I don't like the E3 of the E3 of IGN that Nick had to deal with and actually be responsible for a lot of shit was gone, and I'm like, Nick,
traumatized by
the kind of funny E3 is the best thing in the fucking world, and you would come in with such a sourpuss mood, and it was just like, what, dude, come on. So hearing you now say this. You're a changed man. I appreciate it. Like,
he was like,
you understand the value.
The thing is, he was like, "Don't tell him that he's gonna make me go."
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I mean, obviously, like the last few times I went to E3, I don't think I was at the sour. Maybe I was at the sourpuss movie when we went down there, but I got into the spirit when we were partying. Doing game stuff. It takes me a little time. You guys just have to understand that Fran Mirabella traumatized me for the first couple years that I went to E3.
I can imagine,
and that is a hard thing to shake. Andy, let me paint you a picture of the horror that I went through. Fran is your boss, and you can't leave a war room for like 3 days. And I'm not kidding. Fran used to stay up and not sleep for like 2.5 days.
I mean, he was doing that in the 2018 one too. Let me tell you,
bonkers. Like people were like, "Fran, are you still here?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just, got to get this Scooby Doo adventure."
I knew it.
Up.
I knew you were gonna bring up Scooby Doo. I was about to fucking Slack chat general. How long till he brings up Scooby Doo?
Now, to be fair, Scooby Doo was actually Gamescom. That was even worse. Gamescom is actually a little bit more. That was in Germany because we had to wade through the Gamescom. But Fran, literally, I remember going, dude, I don't know. This is my first year. I've been there like barely a year, maybe even less, because I got hired in October and it was in June. And I'm like, I don't think I can leave because my boss isn't leaving, but I'm really tired. No one else is here because the video team was there. The editorial team cut out fucking hours ago. They were all at the bars. They were at the
That's a complete lie, but okay.
They were at the fucking, I'm talking like 2:00 in the morning. There was no editorial staff there. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Maybe you were there, Greg.
I mean, I didn't start with you, but I was going to go into the fact that like, you finish your story, then I'll talk.
I just remember going, I have to get some sleep. So I went into the hallway where into like one of those maintenance hallways or like, the corridors in between the things that people aren't allowed to unless you're like, renting one of the rooms. And I slept on a pile of chairs that were laid out. There was like 2 chairs and they were all laid out back, like front to front. So I climbed up like a little squirrel and I just laid there because I knew Fran couldn't find me.
Yeah, no, and welcome to what how crunch happens when you don't expect it to happen. Where I was brought in the exact same mentality of like, you go there and we covered every game, and that meant you wrote until 3 a.m. and nobody left that war room early. And it wasn't hey, don't leave the war room early. It was exactly what you described. Well, my boss is still here. Yeah, my boss is still writing shows, of course, or writing articles. Of course, I'm going to keep writing articles, and that got way better over the years.
It got way better. I will say that it got way better.
And it's because, of course, I think like I've talked about many times on podcasts. Like I was lucky enough to be there from IGN ending being the boys club, Animal House, we're all a bunch of people who started little sites and came here, and some of us didn't even graduate high school thing, to it actually being a corporate business, which I know sounds bad, but actually comes with people trying to give you a work-life balance and keep you away from that. But I totally remember what you're talking about, Nick, of like, and you also go through the cycles, I remember Levi Buchanan, they closed down the war room because our lease was, or whatever, your rental was up during it on the final day. Right. And I was going back to the hotel with Levi, and he was like, cool, you're coming to dinner, right? It must have been my first year, maybe my second year. And I'm like, no, I still have to write, and I still have to write the DS preview of Agatha Christie murder mysteries. And he was like,
no.
Come to dinner. No one is looking for that on the site right now. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know. And sure enough, I went, no, it was fine. And then you jump cut to, the infamous Anthony Gallegos story where we were in the war room, the JW, and we had that fucking awesome war room that one year.
I remember that one. It was fucking awesome.
And it was the same thing where we were all getting ready to leave, and Anthony Gallegos was like, I got to write about Frogger 3DS. And I was like, just write. It's Frogger. You've played Frogger. This is Frogger. And he did it and published it with a clip art frog. And it was a hilarious story we all told, and it's an article that gets shared. But it's like, you do not need to write about Frogger 3DS right now. Yeah. Go home, get some sleep.
But that was the
my
weirdest
first
thing. Was like
with IGN.
Was that your first one?
My first with IGN was the JW War Room. Yeah.
Well, I will say, I think, Tim, you caught a little bit of it, but I think by then we had gotten, someone somewhere did a cost benefit analysis where they were like, we don't need to get a clip of every single game that's on the show floor, because someone somewhere was like, if we don't do that, we don't have to have as many like freelancers and other people like going out there and doing this stuff. And also, I think also like technology as far as like processing and encoding and shit like that had just gone leaps and bounds in 4 fucking years. But we were literally like, we were processing FLV versions of stuff my first year of E3.
Yeah,
Ew. I mean, no, it was fucking horrible.
I mean, no, we had. I was still there when shit was like, it wasn't that bad, but like, I mean,
what year was it? Your first E3, you think?
2011. My first IGN E3 was 2011.
Fuck, I forgot you go back that far.
Frogger 3DS, you crossed the road. E3 2011.
Barrett, I sent this article to you.
It's up on the stream.
Oh, sorry.
But Tim, you had to go shoot off-screen footage and shit, right?
You also that's the headline. You also cross other things, but the goal is the same. This is Anthony Gallegos. It's filed June 8th, 2011 at 6:30 p.m., which can't be right. Did you read the headline and the subhead? Every level here is the Frogger we all know. Only you sometimes cross reskinned environments. And instead of cars, you're facing off against grenades and other obstructions out to kill you. Oh, yeah, and it's in 3D. Then it's a clip art of a frog that says, we don't have new Frogger screens at the moment.
Do you think there's one kid out there that's like, what? Fuck. What is this bullshit?
Typical IGN. Typical IGN half-assing
it in. I bet this publisher couldn't afford to pay him for a good review.
Who would have thought says that's a toilet toot if I ever saw one?
Oh, fuck. Well, let me see it. Sorry, I didn't pull it up.
I was going to say, Nick, who would have thought that in 2011... you and Fran in the War Room, and in 2021, you and Fran in the War Zone. It's crazy,
right, dude. I would not have thought that, and I would not have, because Fran and Fran, we don't see each other that much, you know, in the best of times, but because we have both obviously homies, and because I'm getting into Warzone, we've spent a tremendous amount of time together over the last couple months, and it's been so much fucking fun. But I would never have thought it. I would never have thought that was going to be a thing.
Wild times.
Wow. There you have it. You know what I mean? Blessing, how bummed are you? You started and killed E3.
Very bummed. I was looking forward to this last E3 being my first E3, but it turns out it might be the last E3. So we'll see how that goes.
Bless the rush you get from developers that you respect being like, oh yeah, I've heard you on the podcast before. Bless, it's like nothing you've ever experienced in your life.
It'll happen one day.
It's the coolest thing ever. Reggie Fils-Aimé, like, oh, Blessing, big fan, you know.
My head would explode, honestly.
One day.
Joey, we're down to our final 5 minutes. Do you have any updates on where we are with the thermometer here for January 2021 as we put it into the books? You are muted. Don't forget.
Oh.
Was that you popping? Did you just pop, Andy?
Did you hear that?
That was audible. Yeah, I caught that.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even
it's louder than an animal
call. I heard it from my room through the house.
You might be dying.
Feels good.
Yes, I'm here. Give me 1 second to.
No, there's no rush. I'm putting I'm just it's ending up over here. I thought I'd get over there. Kevin, what's my tortoise report?
Sleeping. Yep, sleeping.
Oh my god, is it adorable? Is he in the shell or is he just laid out like he's dead?
No.
Kevin, can you send us pictures?
I asked if I can go and get him out, maybe take a photo. I asked actually if I could take the laptop down there with a Logitech webcam on top, the Logitech Brio, and a Wi-Fi connect to Discord, start the call from there. And Avery says no. She says that's too much. He's tired. He's had a long day.
Then you tell Avery, guess what? Moving. Time to pack. Don't unpack. Get out.
Kevin, you know about that whole about the Elgato using your cam,
works with Apple products.
You know, iPad. Have an iPad.
Oh, you make
not a terrible idea.
I have some math for you.
But the problem is, I'm not supposed to open it up because he's all warm right now.
I'm doing Robert De Niro.
All right, so Kevin, for the new house you're going to build him, I'm going to need you to put some kind of camera in there. So at any point we can get.
Okay, cool, just approve the price of the camera.
How much are we talking?
Like $180.
Done. That's easy. Greenlit.
Perfect.
I have math for you. I have done all of my magical calculations of everything for the end of the night. Some big Patreon things coming in at the end of the night. We are at $98,260.
Oh, holy calamity!
Which is
That means they're getting an oration, baby, with Lady Gaga.
It's back.
Tim, we're over $98,000.
Wow.
Do you think she's going to be on there?
I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to keep tweeting at her, you know?
And it's too bad we're just like $2,000 away from another great
2,000 away. We have 4 minutes left.
God.
You're seeing a lot of last-minute gifted subs come in, so thank you for that. I see Soggy Goldfish 2, which is a disgusting name.
They need to step it up. They need to step it up right now.
Because right now, like we haven't paid Mike or Roger. They're just kind of on, like it's like, well, hopefully the streams go well. We'll see. You know, it's like we're kind of doing that thing with Mike and Roger.
That's a joke, by the way.
It's kind of what we did with you with Party Mo.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Bander SN with some gifted subs. Captain Hank. It's about time. They're coming in. They're doing their thing over there. Doing their part.
Should we just wrap up the podcast and then finish out this stream so that we're not talking about gifted subs on the podcast?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, has been the Kind of Funny podcast. Remember, each and every week, you get 2 shows where 5 best friends gather around these microphones, each coming to share the bullshit that's going on in their lives. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where, of course, you can get the show ad-free. You can contribute your questions, and I'm asking, of course, for you to do them for the one, the only Mega Ran, who will be on the next episode, of course, talking about his new book, Dream Master, that you can get right now. I usually get the show with a post show, but of course we're in the middle of a 12-hour stream. I think you'll let it slide if we don't post show for you on this one, since we're going to go post show on the stream. And then of course we've done 10 hours of content before this, and it's Saturday. I digress though. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your appreciation. Remember, if you can't afford to support us financially, it's no big deal. You can get the show for free on youtube.com/kindoffunny, roosterteeth.com, podcast services around the globe. Of course, ad free, no post show, or it's not ad free. You know what I mean? It's got ads. No post show. You understand? And of course, if you have that Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. We'd love it if in 2021, as we tackle twitch.tv/kindoffunny games in a brand new way, you'd go over there and support us there. But for now, until next time with Mega Ran, it's been our pleasure to serve you.